Hello, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Aja, and thank you for tuning in. We are going to be discussing braiding hair, okay? So I'm going to be braiding my daughter's hair, and I'm going to go and take y'all on a little story time of my life and my journey through braiding. I've been braiding since I was 3 years old. I don't remember that far back, but from what I have been told from my family and stuff, that's about how long they knew that I could braid. But I have specific memories of me being in kindergarten braiding hair, you guys. And I would braid hair for just the random things. So if this is something that you're interested in, please continue watching. So all this is possible because little mama is asleep. She was roaming wild, y'all. So, but she got this little backpack to help keep her safe. So, it's all good. So I can get a lot done with her roaming around and not feeling like she's gonna get hurt. All right, you guys. So this is not a hair tutorial. I'm just kind of reminiscing on my life and my little braiding journey. So as I mentioned before, my family told me that as far back as me being 3 years old is when they noticed that I could braid. I don't really remember that far back, but I do have like very vivid memories of me when I was in kindergarten. And I would be braiding people's hair at school. Their parents would do their hair all nice in some ponytails with ballies and barrettes and stuff at the end, and I would take it all out at recess. And I would plait their hair. And it was just so cute. Like, I never known anybody to get in trouble or anything for getting their hair done at school or whatever, but it was so cute, and it's kind of carried me through a lot. So even when I grew up and I like went to basic training and stuff, I was the one that was always in the barracks braiding somebody's hair or doing something. So that's always been me. But when I was young, that's when I had the idea that I actually like wanted to be a hairstylist. I didn't know I could do like other kind of styles, but I would just braid. And when I got a little bit older, probably like maybe third grade or so, people would come to my house and ask for like French braids, and I would charge 25 cents a braid. So it was yes. So I had this Hispanic family that lived across the street from us, and I literally would braid her hair, her mom's hair, and I would do just the front half French braids. And that is how I learned how to braid different texture hair that was different from mine. And that was kind of the beginning of me knowing that, I could actually make money if this is something that I wanted to do. So I was like, let me just get good at it. So shortly after that, I started to kind of do my own hair, and I was pretty okay. Like, it wasn't perfect or anything, but I kept my hair braided. Like, maybe I would have it already braided and then I would take it down and redo it. And that is another way that I learned how to kind of just perfect what I was doing. So as I got a little older, by the time I was in 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, I was pretty much an expert. I was charging like $20 a head if I was gonna braid somebody's hair. And everybody kind of knew me as, oh, she braid hair, whatever, So it was something I definitely wanted to do. Like, it wasn't tiresome, like, So just to give you a little bit, I'm using this braid gel and Sulfur 8 just to moisturize. Nothing special. These are just some big knotless braids. I like to do the big knotless because they're easy to take out, easy to maintain, easy to do because I have to do 3 heads at one time. So yeah, but back in the day when I was learning how to braid, knotless wasn't even a thing. So it was nothing I learned. I learned that as an adult. where, oh, I see. So, um, yeah, I was just kind of known as, you know, the braider, and everybody would come to me. And as I got a little bit older, you know, that's when I actually started to, you know, actually charge, you know, what I thought was big money at the time, which was, you know, probably like $80 a head. That was like a lot. Like if I was doing some micros or something. And then I don't know. I had a little thing going. So I wanted to go to beauty school and stuff, and you know, get my beauty license, and have a salon and everything. And you know, it seemed like something that I could actually do. You know, I love doing it. You know, I love how, you know, people would be like, oh my God, you know, I love my hair and blah, blah, blah. You know, that just made me feel good. And, you know, I know how good it feels when, you know, you actually, you know, looking good and all of that. So that was my thing. But as I got older, you know, I just realized I don't think braiding is for me. I think that, you know, I like to do it, but, you know, it's not like a career or anything for me. You know, I do let people know that I can braid, and you know, I'll braid on occasion and things, but most of the time I just braid the kids' hair and leave it at that. But just kind of going back to my childhood with braiding, you know, I was a very, you know, like quiet kid that kind of kept to myself and stuff. So, you know, I would always just practice braiding. And my grandmother, she, you know, she was very special to me, and she ended up passing away. But she used to let me braid her hair all the time, and it would be like 8 plaits, like 2 in the back, 4 in the front, 2 in the middle. And she had like very fine hair, and it had turned gray, you know, and I just enjoyed doing that so much. But you have to know how to braid, because she had that really fine hair that you had to, you know, like really, you know, go forward. And I'm doing them kind of long. Yeah, you really had to actually know how to braid, you know. So I was just practicing, you know. She would be talking to me about, you know, different tips and tricks on, you know, like how to grow your hair and the things that they did. One thing in particular that I remember is hot oil treatments that she would always do on my hair, and I would always do on her hair. And that was just our little connection, you know, with each other. And I don't do hot oil treatments anymore so much, but that is definitely something that I probably should do. Since my hair is locked, I kind of leave it alone most of the time. But go up. But yeah, that's one special thing that I remember. And she also used to braid my hair, but she wasn't a like braider like this. She just knew how to like plait. So she would just plait my hair and put beads and stuff at the end. And I just remember how good I felt, and I was like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do this. But as I got older, you know, my feet be hurting, my hands be hurting. You know, I just be wore out from, you know, braiding so much. Come back. And, you know, it's kind of a lot. So that's why I don't do it often. But I do love to do it. I love, you know, how it turns out. And, you know, when I first started braiding, I think if I would have, like, continued to braid, then I would, you know, like, be up there with like the professional braiders. But I stopped for a long time. For many years I stopped. Especially like when I went off to like military training and stuff. We would just braid, you know, couldn't do anything special, just, you know, like straight backs, or you know, maybe a quick like French braid or something like that. But yeah, so pretty much like my mom, turn this way. My mom, she used to braid hair. So watching her, you know, braid people hair was also kind of, you know, motivation for me to want to learn and do it and stuff. And I saw, you know, how they gave her cash, you know, and when you're a young kid, you like, ooh, that's a lot of money. Let me do that, you know. And, you know, just like I tell my kids, you know, you always got to have something to be able to make money with. Whether it's, I don't know, nails, lashes, just something that somebody is going to want, you need to know how to do. So that, like, you ever struggling in the world, you ever need some extra money to do certain things, you know, you'll be able to, you know, have some skills to do that stuff, you know. And that's what braiding has been for me. But yeah, like I said, I don't braid often no more, but if I you know, lost my job today and needed, you know, some extra money and stuff, this is exactly what I would be doing. You know, back a few years ago, I had opened up a little braiding shop when I was out in Virginia. And it didn't really go off the ground because I ended up pregnant and stuff. And it was too much for me. But I would get a lot of calls like, do you have anything available? I'm like, I am big and pregnant. I cannot. So I ended up shutting my business down. I'll show some pictures of it. I was very proud of, you know, of how it turned out and everything. And I had my little logo. I had my little website and stuff. I was ready. But yeah, it just wasn't for me. And that's another thing that I kind of wanted to talk about is, you know, when something is for you, like, you will definitely know. So my advice to you is, if you have something that you're good at, you know, just continue practicing. And, you know, if it's not like a passion of yours, or, you know, has nothing to do with, you know, anything going on in your life or your job or whatever, just, you know, stay good enough at it to where you can make some money if you need to. You know, that's the whole goal, is to never be walking around broke while you got hands, you know, to do some stuff. I will come back and show you guys the finished look. All right, stay tuned.
Day job, running fast from the way it was, jump quick to a paycheck, running back to the strip club. I'm never going back, never going back. No, you can't make me. Never going back, never going back. They never take me. I've been enough of petty dudes. I've had enough of shitty news. I had a thing for dirty shoes since I was 10. Love dirty men alike. Ooh, better today than cash today. Ooh, I just take it day by day.